Hi everyone, this is Stephanie from Steps Tarot Interpretations. I hope you're all doing well. We just finished up with our primaries yesterday, and some of Trump's endorsed candidates lost. Some did win. There's a tie in Pennsylvania. Um, one of his endorsed candidates and another guy. Cawthorn from North Carolina, thank God, lost. Uh, you know, I don't understand anymore. I don't understand the direction our country is going in. And what I want to ask, though, tonight, there's been talk, if you've watched other astrologers, some also read tarot too. Some were more astrology based, or they're more knowledgeable in astrology than tarot. Some were very good in both, but some lean towards one way than the other, as far as their methods of predicting what's going to happen. But astrology charts are, when they're explained, when you're looking at a situation and you look at the planets and compare them to the birth time or the birth chart of a country, of a person, of an idea, of a product, it's very fascinating. And with all the strife and everything that's going on, and it's not just our country, but with the world. But I'm concerned with our world that we're headed for a civil war, and this has been brought up and been discussed by other astrologers and some tarot readers and things. And I just want to check with the cards because the alignments, I think especially of Pluto, was the same during the Civil War when it started as it was for as it is now. We're coming to our Pluto return. And that's a scary thing to think about. If the situation was right, when you go through a planet return in your chart, it's coming back to the point where when you were born and you've gone through all the other houses of all the other different signs, and now you're facing where that planet landed again, and you're looking at how much you've learned and what more you need to learn, and changes go accordingly, especially like Saturn returns and things. Those are pretty big. But anyway, with all the strife that's going on right now, especially in our country, the country where nobody ever thought anything like this would ever happen again, right? The delusion or the illusion that we were all sold on through movies and pictures and TV shows and passage of time too, because unfortunately time does erase memories, and unless it's being taught still, which places in our country like the South do not want slavery to be taught, Civil War not to be taught. It's getting insane. The dumbing down of America continues, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. The more ignorant and uneducated you are, the better off pretty much the wealthy and the powerful are, because they can sell you anything and you'll believe them. And I'm just worried that with Roe versus Wade, with the insurrection, with the midterms, with our economy, lack of product, COVID still hanging out there, just so many things that we're dealing with, climate change. Just there was a tornado in New Hampshire, I think yesterday. We were under an enhanced severe weather alert. We didn't really get anything where I live. Everything kind of happened more north, but there was a tornado in New Hampshire. Now, I think every state has had at least, a tornado. I think, or it's pretty close. I'm not sure about Alaska, perhaps. And I don't know what the average is for that, but I know in our area where I live, we've been having tornadoes, and we normally don't. We average normally like one, and last several years we've had 6 to 10 of them. Insane, scary. But what I would like to know is, how close, or are we already in a civil war within our country? Are we coming close to a civil war, or are we in a civil war within our country? Are we coming close to a civil war, or are we currently in a civil war in our country? Are we close to being in a civil war, or are we in a civil war within the United States of America? Okay. Cut the deck. Let's go from here. So, past. We have the King of Pentacles, the man of resources, the master of material goods, of generosity, he's a businessman, very good at it. He's the best at it. He's the king. And he's wise. And this is showing us, this is for the past. So and the coin to me is like, we have the knowledge. We have everything. We know we've seen, not only just within our country, but in other countries too. We have the history, we have the knowledge, we have the data that we should be referencing right now. To show us what direction we're going in. He's holding it in his hand. He's saying, look, it's almost like a crystal ball, but he's not looking into the future. This pentacle is of the past. This is the information of the past. And we need to learn from it. And he's saying, this is what I need you to look at right now, because this is how close we're coming to it. The leader of all the information, of the history of the world and of our country, is here to tell us that we have all this to refer to. And now we have leaders in different states and whatever that are trying to ban books and not teach certain things in school, and totally ignore what history was because they don't want to see it. It's bad for their business. It's bad for their pocketbook. But the king is here to remind us this is what was in our past, and we need to look at it right now. So Nine of Wands is kind of appropriate. We're tired of fighting. We're building a barrier. We're building barriers against each other. We're tired of fighting. It's been a long 5.5, 6 years now with just so many different things going on between Trump and COVID and now the economy, and just we're tired. But we're still ready to fight. We're just beaten down. And we're hanging on, and we're tired. We build a barrier, but we're still ready we'll fight regardless. And that's on both sides. And that is the problem. We are building barriers amongst ourselves. We're not listening to each other. Although, and I shouldn't say it because it doesn't help the cause, but there's just some totally whacked out ideas and thoughts and comments being made, and just that you can't. It makes absolutely no sense. But we've come to a point where we're not hearing each other. We're not listening to each other. We're not even thinking. There's a division between what is actually true and what is actually false. And that's what's dividing us. That's the barrier. We're divided. We're a divided country. And that's what happens with civil wars. Now we have the King of Swords, the master of communication, the master of logic, getting to the truth, cutting to the chase. And to me, swords always remind me of battle too, even though this is more air sign, and wands, absolutely, you put wands together, and yeah, you can use that as battle too. Even pentacles used as discs. But okay, this is a war of ideology. This is master of thought and the truth. And we're going to need to face the truth. And the truth is, and this is a future, but we're going to need to face the truth. And that future is that we are at war within our country, amongst ourselves. But the truth will come out. The knowledge will come out. The information, we're divided. And the Knight of Swords is showing who's the master of communication and of logic and of thought and clarity, ability to listen, master of the truth. The truth will come out. The truth will win. Because he's the king. And he's the King of Swords. So I think we're in the middle right now we've been developing or moving towards this point, close to a civil war. We're on our way. And if the truth wins out, there'll still be after effects, fires to put out, smoldering cities or smoldering fuming groups. But this gives me hope that the truth will be laid bare. And it could also be the truth that, yeah, we are divided. But this isn't disinformation. This isn't deceiving. This isn't the Seven of Swords. This isn't anything by deceit or the Five of Swords. This is the truth. This is everything that we need to hear, whether we want to hear it or not, is going to come out. That we're going to have to face up to. We're going to have to face up to it. There'll be a lot of kicking and screaming. And whether that's the truth that, I don't know what that truth is. I don't know if it symbolizes the beginning of an actual war or dissolve, like an actual division, physical division. I think this is all mental. It's not going to be like muskets and, Gettysburg and Antietam and all those other, Atlanta. Although we've had riots for George Floyd and stuff, so that could happen. We don't have muskets, but we have AK-15s. Because everybody has to have one of those things. Apparently, that's the in thing now. Some of them wear them like purses when they go into the grocery store, and poor people in Buffalo should have had them. Although not once. I'm lying. I think there was something that happened at a Walmart fairly recently, and someone did have a gun and was able to take the shooter out or something like that. But in the majority of all of these mass shootings, there's not one person that the gun rights advocates, and I'm not against people protecting themselves. I'm not against people hunting, although trophy hunting, don't get me started. But needing to have an armory in your house, the pictures being posted on Twitter, real or not, or whatever, they're of whole families holding, oh my God, that's sick. That's sick. Why? Why must you have that many? I understand people, if they're collectors, but what? I don't understand. But again, like, okay, now these people that are saying, well, if everybody had a gun and stuff like that, none of these shootings would happen. Well, in the majority of these cases, I'm going to say 99, 98% of these cases that have happened, even up to recently and stuff like that, there's been no person with a gun running in to save the day, other than maybe a security guard who ended up dying in Buffalo, or something, or a police officer. So does it really work? Is it really worth it? Because another sicko just had one. It was all armed up. was wearing body armor. Really? I just went off on a tangent, but which I apologize, but I don't know if this is the beginning of the realization here in the future is a realization that all the actual truth of what's been going on will be laid bare. And that's when the fighting will start. Might be, because this is where we're gearing up and people are on different sides. Let's get the clarifier out so I'm not just sitting here, blabbing. All right, well, now we have the Knight of Swords. So, okay. Full speed ahead. He's charging. The Knights get things done. Knights take action. And the Knight of Swords is the fastest moving knight. So once the King of Swords announces the truth, announces what's going on, what's wrong, what our issues are, that we can't survive the way we're going and everything, the knight goes full speed ahead to help fix it. And that could be both sides. And again, it could be so many different things. We have social media, we have the news. Some are called news, some are just fake news. There'll be demonstrations. There'll be marches. There'll be more ill people out there with guns just saying, well, okay, this is all due to certain types of people, so we're going to go shoot them up, or it's their fault, or whatever. So once this happens, once whatever this truth is that comes out, that's a trigger. This is a trigger. We're waiting for a trigger. Like we haven't had enough triggers or as it is, but something's going to come to a point, and then that's when it's going to be when all hell breaks loose or everybody's on the run. And then, well, we've saw this card in my last reading, Two of Pentacles, weighing options. Best way to handle this. Pentacles, not just money, but information. People's feelings, one side versus the other. Trying to balance out the needs of all sides. Trying to provide the information to all sides and doing it fairly. It's a balancing act. So we don't, I guess, implode. And last but not least, but then the sun comes out. Sun comes out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. So whatever the Civil War is, it's going to illuminate everything that our King of Swords here has said. But we have to clear the air. And once the air is cleared, all the static, all the fake news, people opening their eyes and their ears and actually thinking for themselves, not basing it on what other people say, talking heads, or telling them. there's going to be sun and a new day and a new beginning. And there's hope. That's beautiful. And success and victory. And there's sunflowers in the background too. Not that Ukraine is going through a civil war, but and not that we are aligned with them, but I love sunflowers. Such a happy flower. But once we go through all this, it'll be like a storm is cleared, sun's coming out, it's a new day, air is cleared, static is gone. The majority will be happy, and we start anew. I like that. I hope you like that reading also. It's been scary so far. It's going to get scarier. Things that we never thought we were ever going to see, hear, thought could happen. It's happening, and there's more to come. But it's going to be good. We'll get through it, and it'll be good. And I'm so happy about that. I hope you enjoyed the reading. Please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks.